The $1 million question on everybody's lips: when to buy, when to sell, when to hold. The real estate roulette will tell you what we know about the property market and our thoughts on timing. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Real estate
Billy
roulette.
Drury,
Good morning. How are you?
two real estate agents in the northern beaches of Sydney having a good old chat and answering the questions that everyone's asking us lately. Follow the road for 3 kilometers. What do you know?
It's an interesting market at the moment. A lot of people talking, and for some people, I think that talk becomes painful because it's like the same thing after the same thing after the same thing. They just want to know where's the opportunity in all of this. So we're going to break it down for you this morning. There are definitely winners and losers in a changing market, and as I said, some great opportunity.
And look, don't people get tired about talking about the property market? It's a bit like the weather. That people don't get tired about talking about the weather.
No, that's right. Yeah, it's for most open homes on a Wednesday, it's talking about auction clearance rates from the Saturday before and how that's changed their perspective. But we're not going to talk about that this morning. We're going to talk about the potential opportunities in the ultimate upgrade and when to place your bet. That's what we're going to unpack.
And if you get it right, I think what we've got to understand is this is a take on mortgage of 30 years. If you nail that upgrade, for example, in a cycle, that's a mortgage, that's debt that you're going to take on for 30 years. If you don't nail it well, the swing between not nailing your timing and nailing your timing could be hundreds of thousands of dollars that your 30-year mortgage is going to stick with you on. So it's very counterintuitive. You'll see it when we go through the information this morning. The time when you think it's actually the best may be the worst.
Yeah. So we're gonna let's do this first. Let's give you a bit of an idea what the property cycle looks like from a boom to a slowdown into a bit of a slump and recovery period. Now, at the top there, we've got a seller's market. So there's high confidence. And traditionally, if you're making a changeover is the magic word to watch in this. You're progressing from one property into another and often taking on more debt. It means you've got to be a seller somewhere in that transaction, whether you buy first so you know where you're going and then you become a seller, or whether you sell first and you know what you've got to spend and then you become the buyer. But usually people want to sell in a high confidence market. It feels good, doesn't it? Feels good.
Well, people are programmed to remember pain a lot more than there's something in the brain where that loss just burns so much deeper than that win. So the amount of brain space that the loss makes is massive, and it sticks with people. So it's very, very damning, and it actually affects decisions that people make. But if you take a couple of steps back and you have a helicopter view, which I want us to do today, then you actually will look at your take on mortgage of 30 years and go, hang on a second, that's the good time to do the transaction. That's the bad time to do the transaction in that cycle we're going to show you.
Yeah. So I think that the real winners here at the moment are people that are taking on a bigger mortgage over the course of 30 years, and they're making the upgrade from an apartment into a house, or from a townhouse into a house, or upgrading the house. And so in this market at the moment, I would say we were in a bit of a boom period for the last quarter of last year. So quarter four last year, it was certainly more buyers than sellers. It was quite competitive, and it was amazing actually how quickly the market slowed down. And that was really just from the effect of what's going on around the world. interest rates coming at one time, then the budget passed down. It was sort of like this trifecta. It's all sort of hit at one time.
Best example I can give is you're dreaming of a townhouse, or you're pretty much dreaming of that third bedroom, dreaming of that second bathroom, and maybe that extra living room. So
Yep.
family's bigger, and you need bigger. You've been in the property a while, it's probably an apartment, and you're thinking, you know what, I'm going to sell this and I'm going to buy that. Now, in that property cycle, where I would like to be doing that sell, where I
Yep.
would like to be doing that buy, from the experience, it's actually in a buyer's market, not a seller's market. And to explain the difference between the two in that property cycle, you can see, I've only
Yep.
first time ever heard the media using these words, seller market, buyer market. And for the first time ever, I heard the media in the last week using the word buyer's market, we're in a buyer's market. Now, when you're doing an upgrade and you're selling for less than you think, guess what? You're buying for less than you think. And guess what? That take on mortgage is less than you think.
Yeah, so throw some numbers. If I've got $1 million apartment and the market's come back 5%, I might be looking at 50 grand less on my selling price. But say I'm moving into a $2 million house and that market's come back, relatively the same, 5%. But in some cases, I actually think, and this is an observation I've made, I actually think some of the entry-level houses have come back a little bit more than the apartments. And I think the reason for that is there's floor prices to everything in any market. And so, the break into these sort of established suburbs is still being a little bit more robust than maybe the entry-level house. I think there's even better savings there in this case, but just say it remains relatively the same and it's 5%. That $2 million discount is 100,000. You're still 50,000 ahead. That's the changeover we're talking about this morning. That's what the mortgage.
Billy, that 50,000, if you're paying 50,000 of interest over 30 years, you're talking massive coins. It's not just 50 grand you're paying back, it's a hell of a lot more. So that take on mortgage, the smaller, if you can be in a property cycle where your take on mortgage is going to be smaller or greater for the same trade out for the same properties, you're trading out of your place and trading into the one you love. That's the cycle you want to be in, even though it's counterintuitive. You may think, oh shit, I'm selling for less, don't sell. But if you're buying for less, guys and girls, your take on mortgage is lower than ever in that property cycle. And that cycle goes for probably 8 years. That in general, that's about an 8 to 10 year cycle, that property cycle that we brought up.
Yep, this one here. Yep. But it's, those sort of quartiles, I guess you could say they're probably not 25% equals in time frame. Sometimes I think these can accelerate into the next phase, but yeah, as an average, it would take 8 years to probably make a full circle moment. I don't think it takes. I don't think it's like, say, 2 years per quarter. I think sometimes it can catch you off guard, and sometimes it's like a sliding door moment where you have that opportunity to make the move, and I'm doing a lot of entry-level apartments, a lot of entry-level house open homes at the moment, and it's those people that are making it happen. They're the ones that are buying and moving. They're just making it happen.
So, boys and girls, that is choosing the cycle. That is throwing playing roulette with that property market. It may be, hopefully it's forced people today to have a really good think about when they're actually doing that upgrade or downgrade in that cycle, looking at it. I guess there's the brain and then there's your heart. And then it's the way you would read that cycle is probably two different ways, depending if you're reading it with your heart or you're reading it with your brain.
Yep. Yeah, and I guess for someone who's a very analytical numbers person would make a very different, assessment than someone who is leading with, that sort of scary heart emotion of not having bought and sold before or doing it all at one time. So I totally get it, totally sympathize. But I guess that the numbers don't lie, and one way or another, you're going to pay for it. So we want to hopefully bring that to light and make sure you get the best deal over that 30-year course.
That's it, boys and girls. Thanks for tuning in, and call us if you want to sort of mull over this. Even if you're not from the Northern Beaches, always happy to help. Free call. You can give it any of our agents a call and say, hey, I'm thinking about this, and just mull it over. Collect good information from quality people to make a balanced decision.
Yep, love that. There you go. Real estate roulette.
Thanks, Bill. Cheers, mate. Bye.
Cheers.